Israel is committing a genocide. You see the most horrific images coming out of Gaza. It's pure evil. Yet each time we as vegans speak up, there is another vegan trying to silence us by saying, but Israel is the most vegan country. Hi, my name is Leila. And as a vegan and animal rights activist, I believe it is crucial to understand how Israel has been using veganism and animal rights to clean up its image around the world. Israel is committing a genocide. A genocide is one of the gravest violations of human rights. It has 10 stages, and what we are witnessing now are the final stages. However, if you think about it, Israel has been laying the groundwork for this genocide for decades. The goal of this genocide is to systematically destroy anything that allows Palestinians to have an identity, a life. So, the bombing of hospitals, schools, bakeries, the killing of Palestinian doctors, athletes, journalists, teachers, it's all part of destroying life, Palestinian life. Now, I hear a lot of people asking, how can Israel get away with it? How can they get away with killing and torturing Palestinians on live stream? They even post and brag about it. They openly admit that once Gaza is destroyed, they want to build new holiday homes for Israelis there. So how is this even possible? And how is it that educated, logical people in the West have abandoned their reasoning when it comes to this genocide? How can people ignore these clear, compelling signs? Now, I'm not a political analyst, but in my humble opinion, the reason Israel is getting away with it is because of the propaganda it has been spreading for decades. And it's not a new thing. A few weeks ago, I listened to an interview with two US politicians who are pro-Israel. I don't remember their names, but it was quite interesting because one of them actually said, Israel is usually very good at PR. So what is happening? Why are they losing this PR game? After decades of PR, people have bought into their lies. So what are these lies? Arabs and Muslims hate the Jews. They want to kill them all. Israel is the only democratic country in the Middle East. Israel has the best climate technologies and is committed to turning the Middle East into a better and greener place. Israel is one of the most inclusive societies in the world for the LGBTQ community. Lastly, Israel has the most vegan army in the world, and Tel Aviv is the vegan capital. I'm sure there are more lies. As a Muslim vegan from the Middle East, a few of these lies affect me because of my background. However, today I want to focus on the lie that Israel is the most vegan country in the world. This is referred to as vegan washing. Vegan washing occurs when someone, usually it is a company, when they promote their products or image as being vegan or vegan friendly to appeal to ethical consumers, while they are engaging in practices that are anything but vegan. As vegans, it is really important to understand how Israel has done this and how we as vegans have actually contributed to this vegan washing without realizing it. Once we better understand it, it is our duty to speak up against this genocide. And it is our duty to educate others. If we don't, non-vegans will assume that vegans don't care about human lives, especially the lives of Black, brown, Muslim, and other marginalized people. Non-vegans will, forever associate veganism with Israel, with genocide, with a country that doesn't care for humanity. Lastly, once we understand it, we can avoid contributing to it. This last point is really crucial because I admit, although I have been fighting for a free Palestine for almost 3 decades, I was also one of the vegans who kept repeating that Israel is the most vegan country until October 7th. So you see, I was complicit. Now, we are all waking up to this reality, we are connecting the dots, and it is our duty to speak up and undo the damage that we have done. Before discussing the tactics that Israel has used to present itself as vegan and moral, I want to explain 2 psychological concepts that help influence perception. The first is priming. Priming occurs when you're exposed to a stimulus and that influences our response to a subsequent prompt without our awareness of the connection. For example, In a study, those who were exposed to images of unhealthy foods were more likely to choose unhealthy snacks later, and they weren't even consciously aware of the influence. The second is repetition-induced belief. This occurs when we are repeatedly exposed to an idea, which then increases the likelihood that we will believe it to be true. And that is regardless of whether it is accurate or not. We see this actually a lot in advertising when we constantly see and hear a brand slogan. And that makes us believe that their product is superior, even if there is no evidence to support that claim. You see two simple techniques. By repeatedly stating that Israel is a vegan-friendly country to various sources, these methods can prime people to believe it. And the more people hear, read, or share about Israel being the most vegan country, the more likely they are to accept it as true, even though it is not. And for these techniques to be effective, every small mention matters. Each time veganism is associated with Israel, it contributes to priming and the creation of a repetition-induced belief. I know that some of the examples that I'll be sharing may seem far-fetched, but remember, every single association matters. It adds up. And people feel it must be true when so many different sources, when so many different people and vegan events are associated with Israel. So each time veganism is associated with Israel, we are also validating the state of Israel, the occupation of Palestine, and the genocide. So the first one I want to mention is Vibe Israel. This is a non-profit all-women's organization that invites vegan influencers to visit Israel on an all-expenses-paid trip. I did a bit of research, and as far as I could find, it has been going on since 2017. These trips are quite similar to birthright trips, where Jewish people from Europe or North America visit Israel for free, and they have an amazing time, and they discover a new Zionist identity. There are many famous vegan influencers, chefs, yoga teachers, bloggers who have visited Israel on these trips. On this slide, I have included a few names, but there may actually be more. So these people have an amazing time. They share pictures of their trip, of their vegan dinners, of their adventures. And I have seen a few blogs by some of these influencers. And all of them, of course, emphasize the fact that Israel is the most vegan country. So they help actually to perpetuate the myth of Israel being vegan. Now, the Vibe Israel doesn't only invite vegan influencers. When you visit their website and social media, you see that they offer these free trips to non-vegan influencers. And they also host LGBTQ-friendly events. So they are trying to get everyone to talk about Israel, in a new way. And that's exactly what they want. In one of their Instagram videos, they admit that their program is rebranding Israel and inspiring the next generation to talk about Israel in new ways. I mean, just look at these happy, vibrant colors. These colors are full of life, dreams, hope. These are not the color of apartheid and genocide, are they? Moving on. Another way Israel has managed to present itself as a vegan-friendly place is by hosting vegan festivals. I did a bit of research, and it seems that most festivals are actually organized by Vegan Friendly, which is an Israeli company with branches in the UK and US. And they have been actively supporting this genocide by fundraising and providing vegan meals to IOF. I looked into their events, and I could only find the program and speaker list of last year's event. Now, personally, I'm not into celebrity or influencer, but as a vegan sports nutritionist, I recognized one name, Patrick Baboumian. He is Germany's strongest man, and he took part and spoke at last year's event. I'm sure there were a few more, but as I said, I don't care for influencers, and I didn't recognize the name. And look at how they talk about their festival, the largest vegan festival in the world. Is it even true? Doesn't really matter, does it? As I mentioned, if you say it enough times, people start believing it. So, of course, Israel claims to be hosting the largest animal rights marches, and they often invite well-known vegans like James Asprey or Gary Yourofsky to participate. So again, these people share their experiences on their social media. which fits into the image of Israel being also vegan friendly. And there's even a post by James Asprey where he's with Tal Gilboa and he's praising her for her, dedication to animal rights. For those of you who don't know who Tal Gilboa is, she's an Israeli vegan who has founded the Israeli Animal Liberation Front. She identifies as a Zionist. In fact, she's the personal advisor to Netanyahu. And both Gary Yourofsky and PETA's president Ingrid Newkirk have played a huge role in presenting Israel as a vegan haven. That image on the right is actually from PETA's website, where they have a whole article on Israel and how it is such a vegan-friendly place. Next, 269. That is a number many vegans are familiar with. Some vegans have it tattooed on their arms, and I know many vegans actually use it as part of their Instagram handle. 269 is the tag number that belonged to a calf who was rescued by anonymous activists just days before he was scheduled to be slaughtered in 2013 in Israel. Later that year, 2 Israeli and 1 Russian Jewish activists, they had the number 269 branded on their skin with a hot iron branding tool, which was supposed to be an act of solidarity with CAF 269. Now, one of those Israeli activists later founded the animal rights group 269 Life. The ideologies of this group and the tactics they use are really troubling. I mean, they openly admit that they prioritize animal rights over human rights. And they say they ignore human oppressions such as racism, sexism, and other isms. And they believe that animal rights activists shouldn't challenge anybody who holds oppressive views. So anybody who's racist, sexist, anybody who's not a decent human being, we shouldn't challenge them if they care for animals. The group also engages in aggressive and violent protest tactics that involve violence against humans. For example, there was a public milking of a woman like a cow. And the only time there is a black man on one of their posters was when they were talking about eradicating human supremacy. So actually they are using the black man as the symbol of wrongdoing. I guess you could say that they reject the concept of intersectionality, and by doing so, they perpetuate systemic oppression. Moving on, the vegan flag. It is supposed to be a unifying symbol and represent our shared values of compassion, sustainability, and ethical treatment of animals. It is meant to create a sense of identity and solidarity among vegans globally. But what most people don't know is that the vegan flag was created in 2017 by Gab Hakimi. He's an Israeli designer and activist. It is believed that he actually collaborated with a team of graphic designers and activists from around the world, but I couldn't find any details about those who were involved. And in reality, each time we mention the vegan flag, he is the only name, that is associated with the flag. He is a Zionist. He often posts pictures of himself and his wife delivering vegan food to IOF. And I truly believe it is time we stop actually using the so-called vegan flag. Another event that was recently highlighted on Instagram is the National Animal Rights Day. NARD was created by the organization Our Planet, Theirs Too, which was founded by Ilam Orion. He's an Israeli living in the United States, and he has served in the IOF, and he's proud of that fact. Now, NARD, the organization, hasn't been actively supporting this genocide like Vegan Friendly, at least not publicly. But the founder, Ilam Orion, is a Zionist. And each time we take part in this annual event, we are supporting Israel's vegan washing. And remember, every single association counts. Each time we associate Israel with veganism, with compassion, which is what veganism is about, we are actually validating Israel. We are portraying Israel as compassionate. Last but not least, Challenge 22 and Veganuary. Both help people go vegan, but they have links to Zionism. Challenge 22 is actually a flagship project of Animals Now, which is an Israeli NGO. They have mentors around the globe. I actually used to be one of their mentors myself. They offer free support and community to anybody who wants to go vegan. Again, we could argue that they help more people go vegan, and there is nothing wrong with that. But remember, each time we say that this program is an Israeli project, we are feeding into Israel's vegan washing campaign. Veganuary has a long list of ambassadors, and I found a few who are problematic, like the Zionist Mayim Bialik, Chris Peckham, and Eric Adams, who have been supporting Israel's genocide. I'm sure there are a few more, but as I said, these are the names I found easily. Also, Veganuary promotes corporations like Burger King and McDonald's, and these corporations are on the BDS list, and you could say that they are supporting Israel indirectly or directly. It's really up to you how you want to call the role they play in Israel's vegan washing. So Israel wants to portray itself as a beacon of veganism. But let's explore those claims. Israel has the most vegan army in the world. This is such a paradoxical notion. I mean, the military's primary function is to commit violence, not to show compassion. So does it matter that if the soldiers consume vegan food and wear cruelty-free boots? I mean, veganism is not just a lifestyle, it's a philosophy. You cannot switch your compassion on and off. So a vegan army is an oxymoron. But there is more. Israel is not the vegan capital of the world. In fact, Israel is among the top 10 countries in meat consumption. It is the fourth largest consumer of beef per capita globally, and when it comes to chicken consumption, it ranks first with 65 kilograms per capita annually. Yeah, nobody talks about Israel being one of the top flesh-eating countries. Also, during the last 8 months, the soldiers in the IOF have shown their true colors. We all watched those videos of them killing sheep, and then there was the beheading of a donkey, although that was done by settlers. But there was also that incident where soldiers stole a puppy from its mother. So these actions are far from being vegan or animal friendly. And then we have the IOF posting pictures bragging about enjoying free burgers while starving Gazans. There's no compassion in any of that. So this claim of Israel being the vegan capital of the world and having the most vegan army are just propaganda tools. And they are meant to mask the atrocities that Israelis have been committing against Palestinians over the last few decades. I hope you share this information with others. Also, Israel's propaganda teaches us the importance of not accepting things at face value. It's really crucial to cultivate a habit of questioning, digging deeper, educating ourselves. We should really try to stay informed. And remember, solidarity is a verb. It's about taking action. And I highly recommend that you join the Vegans for Palestine. The picture on the left is their logo, which I have bought. I will put the link to their social media under the video. So please join and support their work. Remember, there will be no animal liberation without a free Palestine. Thank you.